And that's probably why you've been stacking tens of thousands, Juhee, on credit card.
Yeah.
Because you had to assume the expenses for you and your children while still married to your husband, but you were given $100. You are sponsored by McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, the 28, 29, 9 McDonald's transactions last month. If you don't have right now the support of your husband, you are sunk.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
No matter what, you need to get out ASAP. Welcome to Finance Action, the show where we take action. My name is Romain, and today I am with Juhee. Juhee, how are you doing?
Hello, nice to meet you.
So Juhee, let's look at your profile. You are 42 years old. You're originally from South Korea, but you live in Seattle. You work in the food service industry and also as a private chef. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. Looking at the way you've rated your personal finances from cheating to Mayday, you rated yourself as surviving. All right, Juhee. So tell me, what is going on?
After I had the children, I stopped working, and then I and my husband have a totally separate finance.
Okay.
So when we had the children, we didn't combine it at all. So when I stopped working, I kind of started using the credit cards I had. And now I'm in a debt for quite a big amount, I feel like. And I've been managing, but not like really paid off. I wanted to like gone. I wanted to be gone.
Yes.
But it's I'm hanging in there. But I'm kind of like, I recently got full-time job.
Nice.
Recently, like a couple months ago, I got the new job, and then it's a full-time. So I am kind of hoping to get good idea from you, and then like I can actually get out of it faster than I can be.
Okay, very good insight into your life. Thank you, Juhee. So I want to briefly tap into what you just mentioned. So you are married.
Yes.
You have a husband.
Yes.
And you have children.
Yes.
How many children do you have?
I have 2, 8 and 10 years old.
Okay. So 2 children, but always from the get-go with your husband, you guys had separate accounts.
Yes, correct.
I see. So when you mean separate accounts, what does that mean?
So we, like he always been making more money than me. So he would pay, like, I would contribute some for rent when we used to rent a house, and then like some bills get separated, and then I would contribute that, and then he would pay for that something, and then we would shop at separate times, and then if I go to supermarket, I would use my money, and then he would go to supermarket, he would use his money.
I see.
And after children, he would give me like a card, like had $100 in it.
Oof.
But like that was it. And then usually we go out and shop together.
I see.
So he would pay for it because I wasn't working. I didn't have any income. So I used all of my savings and the whatever I had before. Mm-hmm. And I also had a student debt. So that's almost coming down to like a little bit, but it used to be a lot. So
I see. So when you had children, you were being asked, or you wanted to become a full-time mom?
We kind of discussed about it, and then we figured when we were moving up here in Washington, we originally lived in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So he suggested, and then I decided that I would be stay-home mom for a while.
Okay.
I don't regret that decision, but as a financial situation right now, probably wasn't a good idea.
Because you were not being supported at all, mostly financially through that.
Yeah,
so if
he
you
would pay
things
for like a rent and now mortgage and all that, but like he's not really like there.
I see. I mean, and that's probably why you've been stacking tens of thousands, Juhee, on credit card.
Yeah.
Because you had to assume the expenses for you and your children while still married to your husband, but you were given $100, what, per month, per week? I mean, per what?
I mean, he thinks that like what we use together. Also, he's doing it our family finance. So I don't know. It's I don't exactly know what he's thinking. Also, what my think was, but
I see.
Yeah,
I see. So, how has it been feeling a little bit like, I want to say, like a little bit constrained? You didn't feel blocked?
I'm kind of like stuck in somewhere. I've been, I had a postpartum depression and all that. And, because of children and, as a life-wise, not too bad. Now it's, we are okay and comfortable. So we can take, a couple trips in a year, go somewhere and things like that. And then he's good at saving money. So like he, tried to save, but I think recently we it's been hard to save more, but
I see.
but still like we're in pretty good place, I would say. But as myself as an individual, I want to be more independent, but I'm not independent at all. So I feel kind of very stuck.
You feel stuck?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, because I mean, we'll be discussing the financial implications of your situation. And you've put yourself quite in a pickle. And I'm being mindful with my words here. As you're stacking a lot of bad debt, Juhee, from a situation that I'm sure you were not looking into putting yourself into, but just that kind of was the way. And you had to do what you had to do, and we'll be discussing kind of where did you spend all that money at the time. But today you feel like you're ready to take it on yourself. Now your children's, I assume, are quite older.
Yeah, quite, independent, and then they don't need me as much, still do, but, I can kind of like, now get a full-time job and go to work, and things like that. So it's slowly coming to be a little more, like manageable probably, and then get out of the surviving mode.
I see. And your husband is not concerned about the situation that you are into?
I think he is concerned, but he wants me to figure it out.
So for 10 years, he's been expecting you to kind of take care of the family and so on the side, pay for some of the children expenses while you were not making money. And now it's like, oh, you know what? I mean, thank you for the 10 years. You know what? Thank you for the debt that you've accumulated. It's good luck on you. Is it a little bit like this?
I mean, we had a fight about it too. Like, we had a really serious fight like a couple times and almost like decided to like end the relationship at all, like a whole thing. But, decided that, like maybe, talk a little more. Maybe I would be more independent. And then I don't know, I think he's a kind of person separating him and not as a couple, but financially he always separates the kids, me and, him. So it's he feels as though it's my debt, not his, or the family's.
Yeah. Because here, as I mentioned again, we're not speaking about a couple $100s. It's tens of $1,000s that we need to get yourself out of this, And there's the children's in the middle and so on. But maybe you've put yourself in a fairly unfair position, if I may say. So let's approach this methodically together. Let's find a solution because there is. And we'll find one, okay?
I would love it.
Yes. Together. And so let's actually first start looking at your income and your assets.
Okay.
You are working for the school district in food services, but also as a private chef. So how much do you get paid for that?
So I just got hired and I only worked for like a month in a school year. So I don't get full amount yet.
Okay.
So I will restart like in September. It will be like a full amount I get, probably around close to probably $2,000 for the job.
That is net per month.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I probably would start to do more catering or my professional chef job on the side to do something maybe to earn at least $500 to $1,000 per month. That would be my plan.
Okay, I think you will definitely need that. So let's be fairly conservative in our approach. Let's say that you make net per month 2,600. Deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That brings your yearly pre-tax to about $45,000.
Okay.
That is below what we would like to see for your age, and you're pretty aware of
course,
that.
Yeah.
But let's just take this into account for now, and let's move on to your assets. So you've been providing us with your checking accounts. I appreciate, Juhee. Thank you. And here I see at 42 years old, you have on your checking account a balance of $840.
Yeah.
And you also have a saving account of $55.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other investment accounts or any other assets?
I have a Roth IRA for
very nice.
about like probably few $1,000s.
What do you mean? Like 2,000?
Like 2,000 to 2,500.
2,500? Okay. So, and do you have any other assets?
We have a house together. I did pay for the down payment for about over $20,000. So I did, buy the house together.
Okay, that's very nice. The house you guys are 50-50?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew, okay, that could be a saving grace. All right. Awesome to hear. But other than that, you don't have anything else?
No, because I used it all. Like I had to pay off my student loan, so I paid a lot of it with my savings and what I had.
What did you study?
Culinary school.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're using that in your professional career. Nice to see. So, look, that brings... I'm going to exclude the retirement fund right now, but if you were to cash out everything today to $900, Juhee, with 2 children, right? That's not good.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. What I had, I used it all for past 10 years, pretty much.
I see.
So.
And mostly on your children, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. So a fairly tough spot here. Let's move together into our next segment that identifies your debt and your expenses.
Okay.
So, as always, we like to start our expenses with the basic housing expense. How much do you pay for rent?
I don't, because my husband, what he makes, he pays for the mortgage.
Okay. Looking at housing expense, given that you have none, that's really good for now. Let's keep it this way, which is nice. I'm going to consider you and your husband as 2 individuals. Which is nice because you're building equity on this house, given that you guys are 50-50. Okay. Whew.
But
nice.
I pay for cell phone bills for family.
Okay. Well, how much is that?
And then that's like a $220.
Okay.
Between $240 in between. So
I see.
And then cable for the internet, and that is $160. Yeah.
Okay. That is interesting. $160. Okay, but then you pay a little bit, I guess, for like subscriptions. Do you have any?
Yeah, I have a family YouTube Premiere account.
Okay, so it's just some of the basic ones.
The basic ones, and then kids like a book.
Okay. Do you have any pets?
No, we don't.
Okay. Let's move on to your transportation expense. Do you have a car?
Yeah, we have a car and we lease car. He pays for both of them. Yeah.
Okay, this is nice again. Thank you. But I guess you have to pay for gas.
Yeah, I pay like a 50% of gas I use in a month. Usually we drive together a lot, so I would pay between $100 to $120.
Okay. What about insurance?
Insurance, he fully pays for it.
Okay, he pays for it. Okay, so I'm going to record about $120 worth of a car expense. That brings your transportation expense against your income to 5%. That's very fair. We like it to be below 15. But again, you're not paying for insurance. You're not paying for the car. Good to go. I'm glad to see. Thank you that he's taking care of that. Okay. Let's move on to some of your other expenses here. And looking at some of your expenses last month, Juhee, you are actually spending quite a bit on dining out.
Last month, it was like a day of birthdays and then his birthday. So we dined out quite a bit. Usually we don't. I cook at home all the time.
I see. As a private chef, it must be amazing. But yes, you are sponsored by McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. The 28, 29. All of those in just a matter of couple days. You've had, hold on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 McDonald's transactions last month. And you also are sponsored by our dear friend Bubble Teas. Let's freaking go. I love bubble teas, but holy smokes, they cost a fortune.
I know. They cost fortune.
Is it for you or for your kids again?
More my kids, of course.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go. I don't even like bubble tea.
Wow.
I don't.
I see. Okay. And in this scenario, your husband is not helping you out.
No, because it's extra kids extracurricular activity, whatever,
Okay. I have a question for you. You've made a pretty extensive purchase last month at a Korean barbecue, $250.
Yeah, that was his birthday dinner.
Birthday, and you had to pay for it?
Yeah, it was his birthday. He didn't pay for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, does he pay for your birthday?
I think so, usually.
Okay, I hope so.
I hope so.
All right. What I like to see, though, as I look into your statements here, number one, most of your expenses are related to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, not much to comment on this here. But you actually were able to save about $400 last month.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. You've spent $3,700 and you've deposited $4,200. So at least it's good to see you haven't, gone down on your checking
minus.
account. But I see many expenses actually related to your credit card payments, which links me here to your debt situation, Juhee.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's ready to rock and roll here because there is quite a bit. Okay, I want you to follow me on this. You have 4 credit card debt.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest one, $18,500 at an interest rate of 18%. Next one, credit card, $4,900 at an interest rate of 29%. You also have another one again, a credit card, $5,560 at 17%. Next one, $1,800 at 24%. And then you have the jackpot to give it all at the end, Affirm, which is, we'll be discussing on that, $3,275 at 25%. So that brings your total amount of credit cards, I'm not looking at student loans, at $34,000, Juhee. Tell me, how did you stack up that much debt? What took, because I imagine, are those pretty much maxed out?
Yeah, pretty much.
So they're all maxed out.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's been accumulated for a long time. So I've been paying just minimum to, bare minimum to survive. So it's been there for I feel like forever.
Yeah. And most of those expenses were dealing with running the day-to-day?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And is your husband aware of this?
Half of it, probably.
You don't speak?
He doesn't really get involved. And then I would tell him some, but it's not the main discussion at all.
No?
No.
I see. Finance has been a pole of issues in your relationship, you would say?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish it was a little bit more fair. Okay, so $34,000 of credit card debt, 2 children, $900 on your account. All right, but you also have another type of debt that you mentioned that you are actually proud that you paid off, for the most part, student loan, $3,540.
Yeah.
at an interest rate of 10%.
Yeah, it
Is
was
it
a private. Yeah, because
okay,
I
it's a
paid
private.
off. Unfortunately, before student relief program, I paid off all the federal loan.
So just the federal relief program, has actually been denied.
Yes,
Okay, the first pass has
yes.
been denied. There is a second pass that's going on. For you listeners out there, interest rate is going to start accumulating in September. First payment, October. So people have been cruising on 0% interest, no payment for the past 3 years. It's coming back. So please start thinking about integrating this into your budgets. It's going to come and people are not going to understand, okay? On your case here, you have 3,500, as we mentioned, at an interest rate of 10%, and you've been paying this little by little,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Overall, what is your credit score?
650, 660.
Okay, it's not too bad. So you've been maintaining pretty much minimum payments.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that has kept you afloat at least.
Yeah, it's not like drowning,
Yeah,
but feel like drowning.
it feels like drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And out of those $34,000 worth of credit card debt, what percentage of it would you say was unnecessary? Was like
Probably like more than half. It's mostly interest, like accumulated.
exactly.
So like it's because when I first had the credit cards, I didn't use it at all, and then it had a highest APR, and then when I had to use it, it's still the same APR. They wouldn't lower it anyway. At that time, because I didn't have any income, so I couldn't make a new credit card to have a lower APR at all. So recently, when I got full-time job, I figured if I can get some advice from somebody, then maybe I can pay it off faster, and then get out of the get out from water.
Yeah, that is so here at home you have the perfect example of an individual that found herself in a position that's not preferable, and I'm sorry to use your story here, but I want to showcase the outcome. I have many people here that come, and generally they're fairly young. They're in their 20s, and they're like, oh, I have a couple $1,000s worth of credit card debt. It's okay. I'm going to take care of this in a while. This, as our friend Juhee mentioned, is primarily interest that has been accumulated over years and years and years, where today you've been able to maintain 650 credit score. That tells me that you've been able to pay minimum payments. But minimum payments on such high debt and such high interest rate, you're not touching anything. You're just paying interest to the banks. We'll be discussing that shortly. But what I mean here, guys, when you get into the system, you get washed and washed and washed. And you probably have already paid,
almost everything, probably, if I calculated it right.
Easy. And now you're still stuck on this that's draining you. So it's very crucial to take care of this ASAP. Whew, sorry, that gets me a little bit heated. It's just like just unfortunate scenarios, and then we see people ending like this, and it's not what we want. But that leads me a little bit, now that I understand your circumstance, to the next segment on our show, which looks at the money case. So, Juhee, here looking at the money case segment together, I want you to understand, and you're probably fairly aware of what's going on. I want you to understand what this credit card debt and just your overall debt situation is costing you every month, okay? And what has it been costing you for years? So per month, right now, Juhee, purely in interest, you are paying... It's gonna...
I'm gonna cry.
No, don't. It's okay. We'll get you out. But you are paying $607. $607 right now on your debt is what's being thrown away, and you make $23 an hour. That is, that's 25 hours worth of work. That's
a lot.
Yeah, and that's being thrown away. Your minimum payments on your debt right now is about $900. Look at this, guys. Minimum payment, $900. $600 goes to freaking garbage for interest. So minimum payments, I'm paying 3 minimum payments. No, you're just paying interest. That doesn't work. Now be ready for this. If you were to maintain that current situation that you're in and not take care of your debt, you've had your kids for about 9 years or so. This is the amount of interest that you will be paying on this debt for 9 years. $50,200 if you don't take care of your interest right now. This is 9 years worth of interest at the current rate. This is freaking crazy. The debt is $34,000, but you're paying $50,000. I want you to visually realize it, the emergency of your situation. So let's move together to our next section. So here, Juhee, let me actually ask you this question. How much does your husband make?
Almost 170,000, 165, a little more than that, probably.
Does he has any debt?
No, he doesn't.
None?
No.
Yeah. So he makes 165. Is he saving money every month?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I mean...
Okay. So, let's look together at this. Per month today, you need to survive based on everything that we've discussed. Your needs sum to $1,800, 50% of which is purely minimum payments. So for now, no matter what, I want you to keep those minimum payments. I need you on the side, Juhee. Now I have to say this. You have to think for yourself. It's almost like you need to think in a survival mode.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have right now the support of your husband, you are sunk.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
On the side, I am giving you $40. That is it for any superflux.
Okay.
Like anything, bubble tea or any of that, you have $40. Somehow make it work that your husband helps with that. But you really have to think on your own right now. Okay. Like as if you were going to be on the streets in a couple months. Like it's that urgent. On the side right now, I need you to save per month $750. Mathematically, you can do it based on all the expenses. You have to cut on everything.
Yeah.
What I'm leaving for you, though, is $400 for food. Okay? In your needs, I want to mention that I do account for your phone, I do account for the gas, I do account for the entertainment component. So you're still maintaining your life, but you're cutting on any of that stuff.
Okay.
But you're not paying for house, you're not paying for car, and you're just trying to be as frugal as you can while still, be here for your kids. I don't want you to feel like, you're like, but, just work on yourself. Like I see Macy's expense and so on. Right now, you can't go to Macy's, $750. Now, from this, you need to be extremely aggressive with the way you're going to repay your debt. And you're going to follow what we call the debt avalanche.
Okay.
You're paying the highest interest first.
Okay.
So I know for you what's really important is to pay your student loans. But your student loan right now in your situation is the last thing that you should pay.
Okay.
You should pay, number one, the credit card that has the 29% interest.
Okay.
Every single cent that you make, other than is on the survival, goes towards this.
Okay.
ASAP. One other component that I want you to start looking into, Juhee, is the option about consolidating your debt. Okay. You have a credit score about 650. It's not the most preferable. It's probably because you're maxing out on all your cards already. So what could be good for you is, for the next couple months, start hitting a little bit those credit cards down, reduce your balance. When you feel you have a better credit score, then in that case, consider consolidate that into a more interest-friendly debt that is going to allow you to reduce the amount of interest that you're paying every month. Have you considered that?
Oh, yes. And then also, like, my husband was talking about like a open new credit card and 0%. But I don't know that's possible yet. So
No,
maybe like
not.
it's in a year after if I really do this. But before that, I definitely would consider consolidating. Yeah.
Yes, consolidation can be a good strategy if you're thinking about just reducing the amount of interest paid, but you need to protect your credit score. So you've been protecting your credit score in a way at 650 is not too bad. It's going to be about how much can you take out as a credit limit and then put everything on that card and whew. But that doesn't mean that you should breathe. You should still tackle every single month. It just allows you to potentially pay that a couple months earlier, okay? But something as well that I want you to consider.
Okay.
Are you ready for the good news?
Yes.
If you play the game right, you continue your minimum payment every month, you save $750 every month, you will be debt-free in 28 months.
Wow. I can do that?
28 months. So that, is a journey, okay? It's a journey.
Yeah.
But that is because your income is not as high as we would like, okay? I want you to focus as much as you can on making side income, still be present for your kid, but think about yourself.
Yeah.
You've given yourself for 10 years, to a person that right now is kind of leaving you on the side. Well, it's time to stand up for yourself. Make sure that everything goes okay on the side. But in, what is that? That is a little bit more than 2 years. You're out. You're out of this. Right now, I personally see you as almost like a mayday. Because if your husband is out of the equation, like you mentioned, it's horrendous. So I really want to show you the urgency on this, but also the positive door that you have. A little bit more than 2 years and you're out of this shit. And then credit card debt, no more. Okay?
Yeah.
You also don't have right now savings done much for your children. I imagine maybe your husband has thought about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew, okay. Thank you. Because, you're also going to have the charge of, your children. You want to provide them with the best potential future. Once you're done in 2 years, your priority number one is going to be an emergency fund, okay?
Yes.
You know that. You put that money into a high yield saving account, and then little by little, start thinking about your retirement because, you don't want to be in 10 years and maybe your relationship doesn't last that long, and then you're stuck at 55 years old or 52, whatever, and then the work market is a little bit better. It's a little bit tougher. Let's be frank.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
I will try hard as possible. I mean, if that's actually I can picture it's a doable. Like then I'll do it.
I am going to provide you when we exit this show a debt repayment method that highlights exactly how much you need to pay every month, how long is it going to take you per credit card. Exactly, it's going to be all laid out. You just have to follow it to the T. No matter what, make sure always you keep for your kids, but no matter what, you need to get out ASAP. Do gigs on the side. Do extra hours. Every cent should be gone. No more barbecue at $250. No. $250. This meal right now is going to cost you $750 by the time you repay it.
Yeah.
Like you have to think every expense that you pay today is multiplied by 3. So when you think about a $15 McDonald's, it's $50. When you think about a $15 bubble tea,
I guess I was
it's $50.
too naive.
It's okay. You're here. You're taking action. You've been in an unfortunate situation. You've been locked. It's your time to shine. Be an independent, strong mother and woman, and you will get out. Okay? I have really high hopes in you. I feel like in your personality, we've met not too long ago, but you seem to be like a strong person. I mean, this situation is unfortunate, but man, you got it. Okay?
I mean, if it wasn't for kids, I probably already paid it off and, probably doing something else. But, I didn't have a job for almost 10 years. And, and then I guess, maybe separating finance with my husband wasn't ideal. And, and then it's kind of stuck in that way. And it's probably still stuck in until,
Who made that decision to have the money split?
I don't know. It's just happened that way. Just never really talked about it, and it's been always like that since just we were dating. So like, when you're just couple, you do it that way, and then it kind of stuck. And
yeah, I mean, I have my personal thoughts about couple relationship. To me, it's very scenario dependent. And I'm gonna speak my mind. In this situation, the person that takes up the kids needs to have some type of help financially. I mean, mathematically it doesn't work. Financially it doesn't work.
Daycare costs like $3,000 per month. I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Juhee, do you have this? I am gonna call you in about a month, and I'm gonna check with you. Okay, is this realistic? Were you able to reach that 750? 750 is your key. 750. This is the number you live here today. You're like 750, 750, 750. You pay your minimum payment still on all your cards. Don't hurt your credit score, please. And then tackle this one by one. 2 years, you're out. Yes?
Yes.
Allez.
Yes.
All right, an interesting situation here. We hope that this provides, again, a different perspective, and really it's about the variety of the stories that we bring on this show. I appreciate your transparency and the fact that, you really brought us into your life. It was really interesting.
It's thanks for, I guess, helping me out to have a clear idea of how I can actually touch it. I was almost drowning there. So, point where I can start.
Where can you start?
So.
That's good. Yeah. Awesome. We appreciate your time spending with us. We invite you, if you're interested in other stories, to like, subscribe as always. And so we see you next time. À bientôt.